guys, so today's video I'm going to be showing you how to take a lace closure and doctor it up to create a scalp as well as to make it last longer, and also if you have a damaged closure, this is a great way to repair it so that you don't have to get rid of it. So this is what it looks like when it's all done, and I've actually done it to this one that I'm wearing right now. And crazy Becky right here, I did it to a closure that she's going to put on and show you. I'll be back. Un momento, por favor. You can show it to them, Becky. See? This is one that I did actually after it was already on the wig. So you can do it before you attach it for a sew-in, or you can do it after it's already onto a hair piece. It's up to you. I had another unit where the closure was starting to tear, so I went ahead and used this method on that, and I should get way more time out of it now, and I don't have to replace the closure. So yeah, check it out.
My scalp, my bones.
Looks good, right? So now we're going to go ahead and show you how to do it. I'm also going to show you the items that you need. You only need a few things. If you purchase the items, it shouldn't cost you more than maybe $10 total, and it will be more than enough to do tons and tons of closures. She's acting crazy back there. All right, let's get going. To start off, we're going to need your lace closure, some quilting pins or sewing pins, heat bond adhesive, scissors, fabric in your color, and an iron. For this video, I'm going to be using this closure. It's actually damaged. It has a couple of holes in it, and it's detached on the side. It completely ripped. So before I do the method, I'm actually going to hold that side together with the rest of the lace with a sewing or quilting pin, and I'm just pinning the lace to the edge so that it's flush, and I want to make sure that it's also flat before we get started. So the first thing you want to do is make sure all of the excess hair is pulled back, smoothed away from the lace on the top of the closure, and that's to prevent any adhesive from accidentally getting on the hair. Now I'm using an ironing board for this. I'm taking the closure and I'm placing it lace facing up towards me, and I'm pinning the top edges of the closure down to the ironing board. I'm going to take 2 more pins and I'm going to pin the bottom edges of the closure down to the ironing board as well, making sure the closure is flat. Before I pin those bottom 2 edges, I'm going to make sure I tuck all of the hair in under the closure so that no adhesive gets on the hair. And again, you want to make sure the closure is flat. Now I'm going to take my adhesive. I'm using Heat Bond Ultra Hold for this. You can use whatever iron-on adhesive you have handy. And I'm taking a piece that's a little larger than the closure, only slightly larger. And I'm going to cut that out of the sheet of adhesive. And on the adhesive, on this one, there is a bumpy side, and then there's the side with the paper backing. I'm going to put the bumpy side down onto the lace, and the paper backing is going to be facing me. And I'm putting it down on the lace, leaving the edge of the hairline out. I don't want this adhesive to be on the very edge of the hairline. This is so that you'll have a seamless flow from the edge of the lace back into your scalp. So I have my iron on medium. It's actually set on wool or silk with no steam. I'm taking the very tip of the iron and I'm gently running it across that top edge of the adhesive along the hairline. Now that I have that part done, I'm going to find the bottom of my closure, and I'm going to take the tip of the iron and I'm going to run it along the bottom of the closure over top of the adhesive. I only want to use the tip of the iron for this part, and I'm only going around the very edges of the closure, not the edges of the cutout of adhesive. This is because if you put the iron on those edges of the adhesive, they're going to melt and possibly stick to your ironing board or the hair. Once you have that all done, I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut the excess adhesive off from around the edges of the closure. So now the adhesive should only be on the closure itself. I'm taking fabric in the same color as my scalp. This fabric I have is wrinkled, so I'm just ironing it out first. I'm going to place the fabric over top of the closure, and I'm going to cut a piece of the fabric off that is slightly larger than the closure. Now I'm going to remove the paper backing from the adhesive, and as you can see, it's clear and it's stuck down to the closure, and the closure is flat. Those pins I had holding the side of the closure together, I'm going to take those off now. And I'm going to take my piece of fabric and lay it over the closure. I'm laying it to make sure the fabric extends over all of the edges of the adhesive. I'm going to leave my iron on the closure for 6 to 8 seconds. And then I'm going to go ahead and make sure that all of the edges and middle of the closure are adhered. Not leaving the iron on for an excessive amount of time. I'm kind of moving the iron. Once everything is adhered, you have to let the adhesive cool. And once it's all cooled off, I'm going to remove the closure from the ironing board. Now, at this point, you can leave the excess fabric around the closure if you want to sew onto that fabric instead of onto the closure. I'm going to go ahead and cut the excess fabric off. I'm cutting it off all the way around from the edges of the closure and at the hairline as well. And for this part, you want to be very careful not to accidentally cut the lace. I'm just cutting at the point where the fabric is not adhered to the lace. Once everything is cut off, you are all done. This is what it looks like when it's finished. You can see this is where the hole is. Now it's covered and the lace is not going to stretch and rip the hole anymore. That side that was torn off, ripped, it's secured on, so that's not going to rip anymore. And so we've taken a damaged closure and we have repaired it in a sense, and also created a scalp that will match your own. And this is another closure that I've done it to with curly hair. And you can see how that one turned out. And another quick tip, you want to make sure if you want bleached knots, you bleach your knots before you do this process. I'll leave you guys with a couple of more pictures of the completed closures.
Alright guys, so hopefully you found this video helpful and hopefully this method works out for you guys. I'd love to see some of your closures after you try this method. You can tag your closures at MissBossyLIVE on Instagram, or you can add them to my wall on Facebook. Alright. Oh, I have to show it. Alright guys, so hopefully you found that helpful and I hope that it works for you. We'll talk to you again.
Diana, line 1. Salon line 4, salon line 4.
They're playing with me right now. Alright guys, so okay, where'd you go? I gotta look to make sure I'm cute. Y'all know I gotta make sure I'm cute.